this is gonna be a little bit different of a video today, so I hope we're all ready for that. Hey friends, my name is Gabrielle, welcome to FrumiousReads. So today I am mixing both week 13 and week 14 and mashing them into one video because I don't think I'll have time to record them separately and I'm already behind enough as it is. And honestly, week 13 I didn't really read that many interesting books because I was focused mostly on finishing Life and Death Are Wearing Me Out by Mo Yan, which was my challenge book for that week. So I'm just going to do a quick run through of week 13 and then do a more in-depth explanation for week 14. So here we go. Week 13, I read a lot of Agatha Christie because I recently hauled a bunch of her books. So I read Agatha Christie and the Regatta Mystery, Nemesis, Murder with Mirrors, Agatha Christie, The Body in the Library, and then I also read Sylvia Plath, The Bell Jar. All of these were fantastic and all of them are books that I'm really happy I read and they felt very much like I was dipping back into that classic era and I'm really glad because I got my fix of murder mysteries kind of for the week. So week 14, let's go into that. My challenge book for week 14 was to read a continuation of a series that you're reading. For that challenge, I read Misguided Angel by Melissa De La Cruz, which is a continuation of the Blue Buds series. This week, I also read Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen, Limbo by A. Manette Ansay, The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway, Murder Most Austin by Tracy Keeley, The Unquiet by J.D. Robb, and Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. This week, my favorite book of the week had to be The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway is a great writer and I love his writing style in this book. It's just very much like, it's a powerful way to write, but it's also very simple at the same time. It takes ordinary events and just kind of makes them extraordinary. The second book that I read this week that was my okay book of the week was Murder Most Austin by Tracy Keeley. Now this book was okay mostly because I felt like it was almost cheesy in the amount of references that it made to Jane Austen. The plot takes place around a murder at a Jane Austen convention, so you already know it's gonna be really interesting and fast-paced, and it was really good and I highly enjoyed reading it. But if you aren't a huge fan of Jane Austen, you might get a little bit kind of tired of all the references they make in this book, but I still recommend it if you enjoy these types of books. Honestly, I didn't really have a worst book of the week. I guess the only one that would kind of qualify would be The Unquiet by J.D. Robb. These are a bunch of kind of horror stories and short like thrillers, but at the same time, I just feel like the collection kind of makes it a little bit chaotic and hard to keep track of which story is which. So that is my week 13 and 14 wrap up, and I did it so quickly. Oh my gosh. If you guys ever want me to go more in depth to the books that I'm talking about, then please just let me know. So another reason why this video is so short today is because I also want to make my genreathon announcement and go through the books that I'm going to read for the genreathon this week. Now for those of you who don't know, the genreathon is being held by Joss from FrumiousReads, Brittany from Under the Radar Books, Kristen from Vienna Waits Books, and Lauren from Lauren and the Books. So if you guys haven't already checked out their channels, then I will be sure to link them in the description below, and you guys definitely should. But anyway, so the basic rules for this is you have to pick a couple of books to read across genres. I'm picking 6 books, and I'm going to be reading across 6 different genres. I'm mainly doing this a little bit differently because of my book a day challenge, and I kind of want to finish a book a day and still keep on track with my own challenge while also doing this readathon. My first genre that I'm reading across is one that I have been trying to get more into, and that is romance. So for this, I'm going to be reading Of Julia and Men by Peggy Heineken. This lady named Julia who has just gotten a divorce from her first marriage and ends up taking a trip to kind of like find herself again and runs into an old flame that she has. So it sounds really interesting, and this is going to be my entry for the romance genre. The next one is going to be nonfiction, Somehow I Am Different by Alyssa Petersell. It's a collection of short stories from the author Alyssa as she stays in Budapest and generally around Hungary and kind of collects stories from the people who live there, and it sounds really cool and it really explores the culture, and the cover is just amazing. The next genre I am going to be reading is thriller. For this, I am reading Mr. Wicker, and this is written by Maria Alexander. I talked to the author and genuinely such a cool person. I am so excited to read this book. Like, it looks amazing, and I heard it's got that Neil Gaiman-esque theme kind of about it, so I'm really excited to start picking this one up. My next genre that I am going to be reading across is going to be science fiction, Mind Crawlers by Jada Anthony. I am so sorry if that's not how I say your name correctly. This is essentially a story about like this parasitic race that they can control other people's minds and kind of feed off them and make them do whatever they want, and these other people who try and stop them and are basically trying to free the world of them. This next book is going to be for the genre of mystery / crime fiction, and that is York Street, and it's the beginning of a series called A Ghost and a Cop series, and I've started kind of reading this already, and it's got that old detective novel vibe that that just a lot of people can't capture anymore. This next book that I'm reading is for the last genre that I'm going to be doing, and that is for the short story collections, and this is Starlight Drive by John Palisano. It's 4 short stories that are all centered around Halloween, and everyone knows that Halloween is my favorite holiday, so I'm really excited to read this book. Okay, so that concludes my genreathon TBR. So the last challenge that I'm going to make for myself this week is from my Around the Year 52 Books Goodreads group. This week I am choosing the challenge of the 16th book on your TBR. For me, that happens to be Storm Dancer by Jay Kristoff, and I'm really excited to read this book. I have had this book on my shelves for so long, and I am just finally like, you know what, I am choosing this challenge because I want to read this book. So that concludes not only my week 13 wrap-up, not only my week 14 wrap-up, but my genreathon TBR and my weekly challenge. So this is like an insanely short video for all the stuff that I have in it. If you guys haven't seen my latest video, then make sure you stick around because it will be playing right after this. If you guys like this video, then make sure you subscribe to my channel. I try and upload bookish videos twice a week, but that is all that I have for you guys today, so thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Okay, bye. So, yeah, one day I'm gonna get back up to date with the weekly wrap-ups, but today is not that day.